Hi everyone, and we go to learn class Cystoidea, and we will talk about Taenia disease and about cysticercoides, cysticercoides. Main agents who can call this disease Taeniasis are Taenia saginata, Taenia solium, and Taenia asiatica. What about morphology of these cystodes? This cystodes has, like another cystodes, a head, a neck, and a body. And you must know, it is very important for laboratory diagnosis, what is the difference between Taenia solium and Taenia saginata, because you meet these parasites in more number, in more cases of this parasitosis. Okay, Taenia solium has hooks. Here you can see that here, and Taenia saginata has no hooks on their head, and both these worms has 4 suckers on their heads. 4 suckers. Okay. How long these worms? These worms is from 2-3 meters and longer than 10 meters inside intestine of a human. It is not long, but it is long for our organisms. The next part is life cycle. Life cycle is not so difficult to learn, but very interesting. This interesting. What's so interesting? Taeniasis is the infection of humans with the adult tapeworms of Taenia saginata, of Taenia solium and Taenia asiatica and Taenia saginata. Humans are the only definitive hosts for these 3 species, but and you must remember that every time, that Taenia solium, for Taenia solium, our organisms can be intermediate host too, like for pigs. Okay, eggs of gravid proglottids are passed with feces. The eggs, it is first stage of the life cycle, and we in another worms we will start from eggs. The eggs can survive for days to months in the environment. It has very difficult and very good surface. Cattle, it is for Taenia saginata, and pigs for Taenia solium and Taenia asiatica become infected by ingesting vegetation contaminated with eggs or gravid proglottids. It is the second number. In the animal's intestine, the oncospheres hatch. And these oncospheres invite the intestinal wall and migrate to the striated muscles, and in these muscles they develop into cysticerci, name of next stage of larva. Cysticercus can survive for several years in the animal. Humans become infected by ingesting raw or uncooked or bad cooked infected meat. In the human intestine, the cysticercose develops over 2 months into an adult tapeworm, which can survive for years in our digestive system. The adult tapeworm attached to the small intestine by their scolex, by their suckers, and by their, as I said, I show again, their solium, for example, use for attach for our intestine hooks. This worm is more dangerous than his brother Taenia saginata. Okay, what's the next? Weight of adult worms is usually 5 meters or less for Taenia saginata, and I must tell you that they may reach up to 25 meters, around this number, and from 2 to 7 meters for Taenia solium. It's not long worm, but long for our digestive system. The adults produce proglottids which mature, become gravid, detach from the tapeworm and migrate to the anus, or are passed in the stool, approximately 6 per day. Taenia saginata adults usually have 1,000 from 1,000 to 2 or 3,000 proglottids, and Taenia solium adults have an average of 1,000 proglottids around here, because Taenia saginata is more longer than Taenia solium. The eggs contained in the gravid proglottids are released after the proglottids are passed with the feces. Taenia saginata may produce up to 100,000, and Taenia solium may produce 50,000 eggs per proglottid, respectively. Okay, where we can meet these tapeworms? We can meet these tapeworms everywhere. It is worldwide. But Taenia solium is more prevalent in poorer communities where humans live in close contact with pigs and eat uncooked pork. And Taenia asiatica is limited in Asia and is seen mostly in the Republic of Korea, China, Taiwan, Indonesia, Thailand. Okay, the next one is a clinical presentation It is more important for you as a doctors. First of all, it is a lost weight of patient, because this tapeworms has no digestive system, but they can take from us all our food. We can't eat normally. The second one, it is find proglottids. It is not clinical presentation, but you can find in your feces. And sometimes allergic reaction for these tapeworms. And it is good for Taenia saginata, Taenia solium, and Taenia asiatica. But Taenia solium has one more clinical presentation, because Taenia solium and Taenia asiatica can call form of disease. It is a cysticercosis, very danger for us. Okay, and what is cysticercosis? Cysticercosis, go down, okay. Cysticercs can be present in our organism, in the muscles, in the eyes, and we can find in our brain or spinal cord. When cyst is present in the muscles, cysts in the muscles generally do not cause symptoms. However, you may be able to feel lumps under your skin. The lumps sometimes become tender. When cysts are in the eyes, although rare, cysts may float in the eyes, and cause blurry or disturbed vision. Infection in the eyes may cause swelling or detachment of the retina or retina, wherever. Neurocysticercosis, it is when cyst in the brain or spinal cord. These symptoms of neurocysticercosis depend upon where and how many cysts are found in the brain. Caesareus and Hydatidus are the most common symptoms. However, confusion, lack of attention to people, and surrounding difficulty with balance, express fluid around the brain, it is called hydrocephalus, may also cure. The disease can result in death, and remember I talked about that Taenia solium is most danger tapeworm. It's more dangerous than Taenia saginata. Okay, what's the next? Laboratory diagnosis. We must find this. You must find, because you are doctor. You will be doctor. And laboratory diagnosis. What we have to say here. First of all, you can do a microscopy and microscopy of human feces. And in human feces you can find eggs of these parasites, and you can find proglottids in feces of this parasite. But when you can find these their eggs in feces, you can detect what is species of this, what type worm inside human organism is living now, because all of these eggs are from all species what I told about. Okay, and when you find these eggs, you must find a proglottids. And after that, when you find proglottids, you can detect a species of tapeworm. Okay, when you find this type of proglottids, this is the proglottids of Taenia saginata. You must note a number of uterus branches. When you note more than 12 branches of uterus, you can say about Taenia saginata. If you note less than 12 branches of uterus, from 7 to 30 or 12, no more than 12, you can talk about Taenia solium or Taenia asiatica. Okay, and this last one, not last but not least, it is antibody detection. May prove useful especially in the early invasive stages, when the eggs and proglottids are not yet apparent in the stools. And we must come back to the cysticercosis, how to diagnose cysticercosis. It is very important, very important, because do you remember this disease lead to death. Diagnosis may require blood tests and or imaging studies. Diagnosis of neurocysticercosis is usually made by MRI or CT brain scans. Blood tests are available to help diagnosis, and infection, but may not always be accurate. Okay, and I'll show you how it's look in the brain when human have a neurocysticercosis. And as you can see, this is a picture after MRI, and you can see, just a second, you can see inside the brain a lot of cysticercs, and this is the brain of the dead man. Okay, there is all.